Hey guys, welcome back. Finished up the Droid collar, so let me walk you guys through real quick in terms of what I did here. So I think the most obvious thing here are the colors. So this right here is a gloss black. What I used was a Krylon rattle can spray paint. Went down pretty nicely. Looks pretty good. Overall finish is pretty good. And then this bottom part here, I used the VHT Winkle Paint. So really turned out quite nice. I more or less followed the instructions, so I basically sprayed on a thick coat horizontally, let it sit for 5 minutes, sprayed on another coat vertically, waited 5 minutes, and then the last coat was on a diagonal path. And then after that I used a heat gun, had it on the low setting, and just constantly rotated it around, and probably about 5, 6, 7 minutes into it the paint started to wrinkle up, and this is what it turned out to be. So I think it was really nice. So no issues with the paint laying down for either of these. Of course, did it outside, warm, nice California day, in the shade. Everything's done in the shade, but paint turned out really nicely. So there you go. So you can see how everything is attached. Really nothing is glued down per se. Everything is just kind of friction fit. None of these screws are completely glued down, just because if in the future I want to install electronics, I can. I know there's some talk about these being, let's say, exposed, either aluminum or brass. I could deal with that at another time, but for the time being, I'm pretty happy with how it is there. Little red dot there, and that really is just some red acrylic model paint that I put on some gloss varnish over it, just to give it a little bit more shine. This particular piece here, I think I had mentioned in my earlier video that the set screw was a little too long, so shaved down the back of the set screw. Now this can seat fully into the head, and you have that little functionality there. This switch, or the lever here, functions as well, I suppose. And then really the only other real modification I did was with the cap. And so this is from TatooineMachine on the RPF, and what I ended up doing was I used this particular screw as the locking mechanism for the cap. So I'll show you here what I did. So in essence, I just simply drill the little set screw hole. There you go. Pretty straightforward. So took some measurements, put this on the drill press, nice straight cut here, and that perfectly lines up with this piece here. Let's see if I can do this one shot on camera. There you go. It's seated. It's not going anywhere. So that turned out pretty good. And I think what I did here, let's see, made a couple of notes here, but the hole is essentially from the top 13 millimeters down at the top of the hole, 16, I don't know if this is showing up, so there it goes, 13 from the top of the hole, from the rim, 16 millimeters down. That was a 3 millimeter wide hole, and it protrudes into the head about a couple of millimeters there. So I used that as my guide and was able to get that hole drilled pretty nicely. So anyway, this is, let's call this a as first built by version of the Droid collar. Not sure at this point if I'm going to weather it much at all. Maybe I'll put in some acrylic paint in the threads here just to darken it, give it some character. Not sure if I'm going to go hardcore into scratches and stuff, at least for the time being. I kind of want to enjoy a more pristine look of the Droid collar for now. But yeah, so the weathering decision will come a little bit later. But overall, awesome little piece from Dark Energy Creations. Droid collar cap. This is the Luke style from TatooineMachine on the RPF. Yeah, so quick little fun build. Really enjoy it. You don't see these very often, so I'm glad I was able to get my hands on one of these for my collection. Anyway, guys, all right, take care. Hope you enjoy.